Hello, sir. Very good morning. I am Gautam Thabaj. Today, I am here to give a subject seminar on leaf spring under the guidance of Dr. Anil Shetty, sir. Introduction. A leaf spring is a simple type of suspension spring commonly used in heavy-duty vehicles. Leaf spring was invented by Ovid Elot by London in 18th century. The overall purpose of leaf spring is to provide a support for a vehicle. The advantages of leaf spring over a helical spring is that the ends of the spring be guided along the definite path as it deflects to act as a structural member in addition to energy absorbing device. A leaf spring is a simple form of spring commonly used for a suspension in a wheel vehicles. Leaf spring originally called a laminated or a garage spring and sometimes referred to a semi-apical spring or a apical spring or a cart spring. It is one of the oldest form of springing, appearing on carriages in England after 1750s, and from there is migrating to the France and German. History of leaf spring. Leaf spring were common on automobiles right up to 1970s in Europe and Japan, late 1970s in America. When the move to a front wheel drive and more sophisticated suspension design saw automobile manufacturers use coil springs instead. Today, leaf springs are still used in heavy commercial vehicles such as van, trucks, and railway carriages. For heavy vehicles, they have advantages of spreading more widely over the vehicle's chassis, whereas coil springs transfer it to a single point. Thus, leaf spring has seen in a modern development in cars. The new Volvo X90 has a transfer leaf spring in a high-tech composite materials, a solution that's similar to the latest Chevrolet. This means a straight leaf spring that tightly secured to a chassis and the end of the spring bolted to the wheel suspension to allow the spring work independently on each wheel. This means suspension is smaller, flatter, and lighter than the traditional setup. Characteristics of leaf spring. The leaf spring act as a linkage for holding the axle in a position and thus the separate links are not necessary. It makes the construction of suspension simple and strong. Because the position of axle is carried out by a leaf springs, it is a disadvantage to use a soft springs, that is springs without low spring constant. Therefore, this type of suspension does not good ride comfort. The inter-leaf friction between the leaf springs affects the riding comfort. Acceleration and braking torque cause a wind up and a vibration. Also, wind up causes a rear and a squat noise dividing. Types of leaf spring: double eye, slipper open eye, slipper hook end, slipper flat end, slipper radius end. The diagram shows the types of leaf spring. First one is double eye springs, the major mounting point to point center. Next one is open eye leaf springs, major mounting point to furthest inside the point. Next one is hook and flatten and radius end springs, measure from bolt to end springs. Construction of leaf spring. Leaf spring used in automobiles is of semi-elliptical in form. It is built of a number of plates known as leaf, which are reducing in length. The longest leaf is called as master leaf or a main leaf, and the other leaves are called as graduated leaves. The spring is clamped to the axle by means of U-bolts. Rebound clips are used to hold the leaves together. Central clamp is used to fix the position of a leaf spring to the wheel axle. The diagram shows construction of a spring, eye, master leaf, chamber, central clamp, rebound clip, and graduated leaves. Why leaf spring is called leaf spring? Leaf spring have even been used in a last 100 years with big motor companies. The leaf spring is named after a leaf because it is a very similar to adding many leaves on a top of each other. The arc is very slender and it is usually gap. It is it can be connected to a bottom piece with having a slender gap. This spring should a leaf spring is lubricated or no. The springs could be kept fairly clean in order to extend their useful life. Modern leaf springs do not need a lubricating with oil, which many damages an anti-friction material between the leaf spray than the instead of a based lubricant. Parts of leaf springs. Springs are connected to a axle in a overslung or underslung configuration using a springs hangers and a shackle links. The first diagram shows you underslung leaf spring. Below that, it shows overslung leaf spring. Because in underslung leaf spring, the leaf spring is connected below the shaft of the wheel, and in underslung overslung of leaf springs, the leaf spring is connected above the shaft. The spring suspension do not normally require a lubrication or maintenance other than the resigning after use of a salt water. It is acceptable to apply a lubrication to the moving parts. Multi-axial spring configuration use equalizer spring hangers between spring axles. This transfer shocks, holes and axle next to the equalized load. The diagram shows you the tailor frame, front hanger, equalizer, U-bolt, shackle, link, rear hanger, uh, center hanger. Manufacturing process. uh, Shear of a flat bar. Second one is center hole punching drill. Third one is end heating process, forming hot and cold process. Next one is heat treatment. Next one is surface preparation. Next eye bush preparation process. Next one is assembly. uh, in heating process, uh, it has a four subdivisions. First one is eye forming or a vapor forming. Next one is diamond cutting and trimming, width cutting or trapping, end punching or a end grooving, center hole punching or central drilling. In heat treatment, they have five steps: heating, hardening, cambering, quenching, and tempering. In surface preparation, again it has two types: short pinning and primary painting. In eye bush preparation process, it has three subtype: eye remaining, bush interaction, and bush remaining. In assembly, they have three steps: presenting and load testing. Second one is finishing painting. Third one is marketing and packaging. Standard size of a leaf spring: width 25 to 80 mm in steps of 5 mm. Next, thickness 2 to 8 mm in steps of 1 mm. 10 to 16 mm steps in a 2 mm. Material used for a leaf spring. The material used for a leaf spring is usually a plain carbon steel having a 0.90 to 1.0% carbon. According to the Indian standard and recommended material use for automobiles, 15 CR1 to 15 CR1 V23 55 SIMN90 used in a hardened and tempered state. For rail road springs, C55 water hardened, C75 oil hardened, 40 SIMN water hardened, and 55 SN. And these leaf swings are also designed according to the climates of the states. Advantages of leaf spring: the the way the suspension is constructed is really simple and strong, acting as a linkage that holds the axle in a position without the need for a separate linkage. Extra weight and cost are reduced because of a rare axle location. Leaf springs support a weight of chassis, make them ideal commercial vehicles. They also control axle damping. Leaf springs are used in heavy vehicles such as trucks, vans, and rail carriages. Disadvantages of leaf spring: difficult to install a leaf spring. High friction is produced between the each leaf. Over time, the spring tend to lose the shape and can sag. Wind up and vibration, can be caused by acceleration and breaking of the torque. Conclusion. Hence, it is concluded that composite leaf spring is suitable replacement for a conventional steel leaf spring towards a riding quality, weight reduction, cost reduction, and fuel economy of the vehicle. Thank you.